Hi, my name is Ryan Hoover with Weichert Realtors, the 5 and 5 agency, office located on the north side of Ankeny, and work the Des Moines metro real estate market. So what I wanted to talk about today was kind of where we are in the market as a whole from a consumer standpoint. Recently, we're not really in a normal situation, right? If you look at the last few years, we've kind of had to roll with some ebbs and flows of what the market's given us and different things that have been going on, right? But typically in a rotation of a year and where the market is, what we see, I'm going to start in January, right? Generally in January in the state of Iowa, we're coming off the winter, we are in the winter. And what we see is the winter market is a decent market. Traffic isn't as high, but what we find is that buyers and sellers are serious through the winter months, right? When we're working through the winter, what we also see is that spring market, getting ready for that spring market. And I get a lot of questions on when's the spring market, right? Is it May? Is it March? Is it February? What does that look like? What I'll tell you is the spring market is when the snow melts. I say it a lot, but when that grass turns green for a short amount of time, it doesn't matter if it's for 2 days or a month, when that grass turns green, buyers start to come out. And so we can see a variation of spring markets a couple times through the spring. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's January 14th and the snow melts and we get a run of 45 degrees for a week. We generally see a good amount of buyers come to the market through that time. Now, what generally happens is, because we know it's Iowa, is that it gets cold again. It snows, it may not stay around, but it gets cold again. We go through some variations of weather again. And it could be cold again till May 1. It could be cold for 2 more weeks and we could get a warm up again. But what we see whenever that grass turns green from a snow melt, you get a new rush of buyers. And so what we tell sellers is be ready. If you're wanting to wait for the spring market, or if you're ready to go in that January, February range, kind of be on call, right? Kind of be ready to put your home on the market when it gets nice. And sometimes you miss it because it's so quick. But the answer to that spring market is I feel like the spring market hits when the grass turns green. Once we see the spring come through and stay, right? What we generally see is a speed up, a really, I wouldn't say really quick moving, but we've got more buyers and sellers in the market. Usually we get a flood of listings in that spring market. And then we also hit that spring break then, right? If we've seen a strong spring market or we've seen the grass before spring break happens, spring break hits and feels like half the town of Ankeny is in the south, right? But we see it slow down a little bit through that week and a half to 2 weeks, the couple days leading up to the spring break week, and then a couple days after as people settle back in. Then what we generally see is a nice little run till probably about when school's out, and that's kind of where we are right now. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. We are at the point in Ankeny, at the time we're shooting this video, we're in the end of May. So what we see is the slowdown happen again when school's out, kids are getting out, the transition from school in the spring months to now we're settling into the summer months, whether that's doing some more traveling, getting a new weekly routine set in, whatever that might be. Through that time period, it slows down a little bit. Then once we settle in again, right, we're going to be the beginning of June here through this next weekend, and we're probably going to see a pickup again. We're probably going to see a pickup again through about July 4th. And July 4th through the years has been a really big slowdown. What we see in the central Iowa market is July 4th. It runs through about the state fair time. because the state fair kind of coincides with school getting back in, football season starting, high school football, college football. It's kind of a big deal, right? And so there's a lot of focus put on that. Volleyball season as well, camps, stuff going on. So from that selling point and buying point, it that time through the summer tends to slow down a little bit through July. From July, that July 4th area through that state fair. Once the state fair's done, kids settle back into school. We're back to a routine. Consumers crave that, and so then we generally see kind of a pickup again through the holidays. That Thanksgiving time hits, and then we're back in the holidays again, and then we get back to that kind of holidays into the winter market, where I said at the beginning that the market's still a good time to buy or sell. Generally, you see buyers and sellers that are a little bit more serious through that time. So that's kind of just a year-round snapshot of what you can expect in the market. Now, the caveat to that is what else is going on, right? The other variables that are going on outside of just the time of the year and the general scheduling of the year. Interest rates have a play in that too. When interest rates revolve, go up and down, they can have a pretty strong, significant impact on that. And there's obviously other variables that play into that. You get into an election year, you get into some geopolitical things that can affect it. Anytime there's question marks or people are unsure about the short term, you have some people back off from making life changes, big decisions, and buying and selling a house tends to be one of the bigger decisions people make. So that gives you a really good snapshot of the market and what to expect throughout the year. And there's always caveats to that, but in general, that's typically what we see throughout the year with the market.